Found a love like this. There it is. I've never found a love like this.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. I am back in action, and I'm gutted, to say the least. To my right is Lucas, and down the bottom there is Clive. We're going to talk about Manchester United 3, West Ham 1. We're going to have a little speak about it for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to get into the player ratings. Lucas, done a watch along? Talk to me, bruv. West Ham, gutted.
Well, first 15 minutes, I could barely watch anything because having to get in sync with Alfie and Mitch is just like trying to fix a car with no tools. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I missed the first 15 minutes basically because of that, and my internet was beyond. I don't want to use the word, but it was absolutely screwed. And then same thing throughout the match. My internet was absolutely in shambles, but besides that, it's just I'm absolutely deflated. I can't stand losing to United, and with them, it's like I said it before we got on. We just always lose to them in controversy or a last-minute winner, and it's just, it's coming every single time. On the watch-along, I was just like, please, can we just get to extra time? Anything after that, I'll take, but it's just so annoying, and it happens all the time. And I think what really pisses me off the most is this was some of the best football we played all year, and we
4-3-3, mate.
We threw it away in 15 minutes.
I kept saying it.
Shambles.
And I fucking love it when I'm right. I said 4-3-3 for a long time. I said West Ham need to start playing 4-3-3 and you will see a different team to what you're seeing. I am gutted before I get Clive in. Don't get me wrong. I am gutted. I was watching it in a boozer locally to me. And I was going berserk when Benrahma put that in the top bins. But in the end, we shot ourselves in the foot, as we always do. And this is West Ham for you. It's just fucking one step forward, two steps back. Clive, give me your quick assessment of...
I think Lucas hit the nail on the head, to be honest. I was watching a little bit of the watch-along alongside also having it on the telly earlier. It's one of those where you just know that Man U are just going to score late into the game. We didn't take our chances in the first half, but it was some of the best football we've actually played this season. But there's extra pressure on the cup, specifically the FA Cup. There was pressure last season when it was Mark Noble's last season, and there's pressure this season because I just don't think we're going to have as good of a squad for next season.
Yeah. Before I get started, Mitchell and West Ham Online are having a night off. They both done the watch-along, so you've got the backup crew on tonight. Do you know what I mean? In Clive and Lucas. Before we get going, keep all your comments polite and reasonable. We're talking about football and only football. Anyone who disrespects any of my panel tonight, they are gone. I will not muck about. Strict, firm, and fair. So let's get into it. Let's start off with this man. Fuck me, Alphonse Areola. I'm going to go first on this one. Great shot stopper, but has got no idea how to save balls when they're sort of like he can see them coming. He was bad, to say the least. I think he done a few good saves, but Garnacho's goal is a killer for me, absolute killer. I'm going to give him a 5, mate. And that's not even joking me, right? I think he should come out for their first goal. I think Aguerd's in the way, but he should own it. He should come out and smash that, punch it out. I think the second goal, I know it curls around Ben Johnson, but he's a big keeper, Areola. He should be getting there. And the third goal, I'm not really worried about. So I'm going to give him a 5, mate. I might be harsh, but, is what it is. Clive?
I'm going to give him a low 6. I know we was just talking about this just before we obviously kicked it off. But my argument with Areola is that he did scream for that ball, which obviously led to Aguerd's own goal. And in my opinion, Aguerd should be leaving that in the first place, because obviously that puts Areola in no man's land, which is exactly what's ended up happening here. But secondly, it's not like Aguerd is a newbie or a rookie. He's been around for a few years. He's not overly young, so he should know better. I think Areola made no issues there. Second goal, yeah, perhaps he could have done a little bit more. But you could also argue the same for Ben Johnson. But I'm going to say a very, very low 6. I mean, he conceded 3 at the end of the day.
Lucas?
First half, decent. He actually made a fair amount of good, decent saves, but I'm going to give him a pass for the first goal, even though he should. I mean, as a goalkeeper, by any means, even if it affects your own teammate, you got to just run through anyone to save that ball. Punch it out, catch it, whatever you got to do. Second goal was a bit I don't get it. He read the shot correctly.
Yeah.
He went the right direction and at the right angle. He just didn't fully commit. And if he does commit, I think he saves that easily. It wasn't that great of a shot.
It wasn't.
No.
It wasn't.
And then,
do you think that's goalkeeper rust from the lack of game time though?
It could be, but
what makes me laugh is he done a good save in the first half. I was like, wow, what a save that was!
Yeah.
Like, great save. And then I look at the one where Garnacho scored, and I'm thinking, as he sort of like it's beating miles. It's like it's got to be about a foot past him. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and if he fully committed, he saves it easily. So that right there, that's how I felt with like Fabianski the other day, where he just stood there, didn't even commit, and Areola probably committed about 25%. He read the shot, he had the right angle, he moved a little bit, but didn't fully commit.
What are you rating him, man?
And then the third goal, not really his fault, not much he can do, but distribution was okay. I'll give him a high 5.
High 5?
That might be generous.
That is generous, mate. That is. Moving on to this man. Ben Johnson. God, where do I start with him? Clive, take it away.
I think this proves my biggest point about Mr. Ben Johnson here. This game exactly sums him up to the T, to be honest. Great against the average player. Now, we haven't really seen a lot about, was it Garnacho, whatever he's called from Manchester United, but he did have him in the pocket for a solid 60. Now, my thing is, as soon as Casemiro and even Rashford came on, Ben Johnson looked behind it. And he's looked behind it against Frankfurt last season. He's looked behind it on numerous occasions this season. He is just not good enough to be a starting 11 player for West Ham, and it's a position we need to sort the crap out of next season urgently. So for me, Ben Johnson gets a high 5 because he did a solid job in the first 60, but that second goal, he hasn't pressed enough for that, and he's just shown that he's a little bit behind. There's a little bit of that weaknesses. I'd still love to see Johnson go out on loan. What Casey's just said, what you've just pointed out there on the video screen is he is championship level, but the thing is we need to give him the minutes in the championship. Put him on loan. I asked for it last season after Frankfurt. I put him on loan. I beg someone. He's just not capable for these kind of games. But he did okay overall. Didn't surpass my expectations. Did exactly what I anticipated. It's a very, very high 5 for him.
I've got to say, get this comment. Jason loves to choke me mouth. Thank you very much. I'm going to go next on this. I thought he was dreadful, mate. Absolutely dreadful. I thought he'd done all right against Garnacho, but I thought Garnacho was crap. He wasn't really doing a lot. Do you know what I'm saying? First half, go back and watch the first half. When the balls are going over to the left-hand side, the ball's coming across going over from the right-hand side, sorry. He's miles out of position. I'm looking, I'm thinking, Ben, where the hell are you? And he's just allowing Garnacho to have the space of Manchester there. He's just not good, mate. I think he's massively overhyped. I'm going to give him a 5. It's just a standard rating for me. I don't think he's done anything amazing. he didn't have Garnacho in his pocket because every time Garnacho coming inside and outside, he was all over the place. Like his feet were tied up. So I'll give him a 5, man. Lucas.
Sorry, I was laughing at one of the comments from Dan. He said Johnson kept gazpacho.
I read that as well.
Like the dip. Oh man, Ben Johnson. If he played in 1970 or 1980, he'd be an absolute worldie of a defender. He really would be. People would love him. People would rave about him for years. But he just offers zilch going forward. Just absolutely nothing. And it's a shame because I thought defensively today he wasn't too bad. Because I do rate him as a defender, and I thought he kept Garnacho in his pocket for a good amount of time until about the dreadful last 25, 20 minutes. But again, he's just not good enough going forward to be a Premier League player. Like I truly believe he's got the defensive capabilities to play in the Premier League, but he just offers nothing going forward, and he can't move to center half in a back four because he's just not big enough. I know Martinez is a solid center half, but it's a bit different when you compare the two of them. But Ben Johnson,
yeah,
I think a 5 is fair. 5's fair, just because again, if he put his whole game together, he'd probably if he was better at going forward, could have seen a lot more tonight from this team, and he probably would have gotten like maybe a 6, maybe a 7. But he's just so incapable of going forward with the ball that it's impossible to give him a rating above a high 5, even if he does play well, because he can't get forward. It's like a disease.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing was, sometimes he's defended his like what we think he's good defending. I think we could find better defenders than him, if I'm being honest. But I think he's an okay defender, but he's not like if someone said to you right now you had Wan-Bissaka or Ben Johnson, you know who you're having. Do you know what I'm saying? We're going to move on to this man, which is going to break my heart. This one, Nayef Aguerd. Where is it? Where is that? Thing that I want to use is right here.
Emotional damage.
I am gutted, mate. Gutted.
Let's be honest. If we had to compare that match that Aguerd just had to Kerr's match against who was it against where he had the stinker?
I can't remember.
No. We compare this one to Ogbonna the other week. It was atrocious. It was atrocious.
If there was a three-way boxing match between Aguerd tonight, that Ogbonna performance the other week, and then Kerr's horrible match from a month and a half, whatever it was, that would be a fantastic Royal Rumble.
Right, I'm going to say something now, yeah? Is it because there is no chemistry and no communication between him and Areola? A man at times, them two were looking at each other and no one knew. No one knew what to do. Like
the first goal, yes. The second and third, no. The second and the third, I would say, if anything, it's a failure of chemistry in the back line. And what I mean by that is there's two aspects. Who is the leader of the back line? When Ogbonna plays, Ogbonna is the leader of the back line ahead of Aguerd. But when Ogbonna's not playing, I've noticed that the leader of that back line seems to be Aguerd. Now, the irony is we don't know what our best back four is because it keeps fucking changing.
Yeah.
So it's the chemistry of the back four. It's the back line.
And add on top of that, his passing woes are continuing. His passing today was absolutely horrendous.
It was bad.
He done one good thing today that I remember is he picked the ball up, pushed it forward, played it to Johnson down the flank, and then Johnson played a horrible pass. But mate, like the thing is, I know Aguerd's passing isn't bad. I think it's just a little stint. Like I'm not gonna get too worried about this performance, but on the surface of an individual match, it was absolutely horrible, and it's gonna go down as one of the worst individual performances of the year, easily.
Oh, I don't know about that. I've seen some worse than that. I've seen Cresswell play, mate.
Atrocious tonight.
He was bad. Don't get me wrong, but up until they scored, I thought he was all right. I'll be real. I thought he was okay. up until what did he? Right, let's be honest here. Yeah, if we're going to go in on him, up until they scored that first goal from the corner, what did United really do? Not a lot, really. They had shots. They were trying and probing, but they weren't really getting through. I thought he was all right up until then, and he makes 3 absolute killers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, Weghorst, who he marked for the majority of that game, he did what he had to do. But this is
just talking
this is
about
also
all
fake.
that. Just talking about all that is like
Weghorst.
bringing me back to sadness because United were not good at all tonight.
That's the
I
thing.
agree.
That's the thing. It was a somewhat weakened Manchester United, a somewhat Manchester United that had been celebrating literally three nights ago, whatever it was. And yeah, I mean, Aguerd did his job for 75 minutes.
Literally
It was
sick.
the last
I'm
15,
sick
20.
talking about it already.
What it is, I know people are saying it in the chat that he scored, but Man United scored. Do you know what I mean? Man United scored the goal. Right, the ball comes in, he puts it in the back of the net. I'm going to rate him a 4 out of 10, and that's me being kind. Clive, what are you rating him?
It would have been a 6.
Yeah.
But then, where do I begin? Well, I guess I begin that he didn't listen to Areola's call for the ball. So that's an own goal. That's -1. So we take him down to 5. Garnacho's shot came off of his clearance. It was a shit clearance. Take away 1, 4. And Weghorst caught him out of possession for that 3rd goal at the end. So he gets a player rating of 3. -1 for every goddamn goal because it was all his goddamn fault.
Lucas, what's the rating, mate? Give me a number.
You know what? I'm sorry. I'm going to give him a 2. Thought he was awful. Absolutely terrible. I do love you, Nayef, though. I love you dearly. And you will bounce back. You will bounce back. I know you will. But fuck me, that was awful.
Yeah, it was bad. Moving on to this man, Angelo Ogbonna. I thought he was right tonight. Yeah, again, I thought he was steady and solid, really. Like, what did he really do wrong tonight? Not a lot. But think about up until Nayef Aguerd scored. But what did really Aguerd and Ogbonna have to do, really? Not a lot, really. Like, I thought they defended pretty well. I thought he was all right. He got stuck in. He passed the ball okay.
Oh, Ogbonna played an absolutely lovely lob in the box to Fornals, who had a great cross on the floor that no one was on the end of.
That would have been, as you would have said, a great hockey assist, as you put it. Right, Clive, give me a rating for Ogbonna.
It's sad because I've always said my ratings are based on also what the scoreline is going to be, and ultimately it wasn't a clean sheet. So had we'd won that game, even if we'd won it, say 2-1 or something, I would have given Oggy a 7. I think he actually had a really good game. But even though he isn't at fault for the 3 goals, I'm just going to give him a 6. It's a solid 6, but ultimately we lost. So that's where I sit with my player ratings. So you can disagree if you want.
I agree.
It is hard to give him a 7 because we lost and we didn't keep a clean sheet. But when I do these ratings, I think of individual performance, and of course I do keep the score line in my head. But Augie. I love Angelo Ogbonna so much. But again, today, not a lot to do. He cleared the ball well, good headed clearances. Fortunately, he was just kind of like in the back seat watching Aguerd have an absolute disaster class. And like I said, he did play a lovely pass to Fornals in the box that should have probably resulted in a goal. Someone needs to be on the end of that. And yeah, I don't know if it was enough for a 7 though, so I'm gonna give him a very high 6.
Happy with it with a 6?
Very high 6.
Yeah, I agree. High 6 for me. I thought he was solid, reliable. Didn't really do a lot wrong, and basically I'm gonna keep it short and sweet with him. I thought he had a really good game in his aspects of things. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to move on though to this man who played left back tonight. Mr. Emerson. Right, let's get into this one.
Yeah, this one
Clive,
is interesting.
is he a left back for you? Because I thought tonight, me personally, I thought he was right.
So I had to look at when he last started. Now I could be incorrect here, but I think that's his first start since September.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, and I believe his only other starts were against FCSB and Chelsea, maybe.
That's correct.
So I think for someone who's hardly played in that position in this season, especially from a starting point of view, and I know that we criticised him a little bit at left back earlier in the season. I think he actually had a good game. I think he's finally settling in, and both into the squad and into the formation, where he's being utilised in not just left back, but also the whole wing back position, as well as like sort of defensive midfielder. I think we can utilise him in multiple positions, and I think that's useful for potentially next season, because I think we all have a similar opinion on Cresswell, that he's past it. So for me, Emerson gets a 6. I'm half basing it on the fact that there wasn't a whole load wrong with what he did tonight, and we ultimately lost. But yeah, just a mediocre 6 for me.
I'm going to give him a high 6 out of 10. I thought he kept Anthony quiet, dead quiet.
Shit player. Anthony stinks.
He is, mate. He's diabolical, right? I've got to be honest. I thought Emerson had a good game.
I'm legit getting sick again just thinking about the match.
Yeah, and I know. So yeah, I'm gonna give him a high 6. I like him as a left back. I think he's good in both areas. I think he's defensively okay. I think he's okay in defence. Don't get me wrong. But going forward, he's another outlet, and that's what we need. 4-3-3 is the move. Anyone who keeps telling me 5 at the back is the way forward, go and read a book. Lucas, give me a rating for Emerson.
I was a bit worried tonight because we haven't seen Emerson play left back in a back 4 in a while. But I actually was very impressed with him tonight, and I think that might be one of the better signs of tonight going forward, that I think he can do the job. The only thing I can think of that he done wrong, he attempted a back heel in the middle of the pitch, which didn't go over. But besides that, I thought he wasn't great, but I thought he was very decent. And he did get an assist tonight. I wouldn't say he defended well, because Anthony, really, I just don't think he's that great of a player, if I'm being honest with you. One of my mates who supports United said that he was brought in to score goals, and I don't really see him as a threat on that end. But I'm actually going to give Emerson a 7. I thought he was very decent tonight, and probably in our 3 or 4 best players tonight, and really didn't do a lot wrong or cause us to lose. So 7 for me.
7 out of 10. We'll move on to this man who's fucking reborn, bruv. Reborn. I thought he was right again tonight. Everywhere. I like the way he was played tonight. He was pushed a bit further forward. It allowed him to express himself. Passing is an issue, don't get me wrong.
It's such a shame. The passing aspect really is such a shame, because the passes that he can't make, really, in the eyes of many, it's just, they're so basic. They're such basic passes you have to make, and it's just it's a shame, because he was the janitor tonight. He was just cleaning up everything, recovering the ball, intercepted everything. His tackling was okay, could have been a bit better, but he was on it again tonight.
Yeah, I thought he was fucking good tonight. Really good. I like him like that. I like the aggressive Soucek, getting about it, getting stuck in.
And he was a bit of a passenger, but I don't want Soucek to be the main man. None of us do. What he did tonight for me is perfect. If he cleans up the passing and he makes those basic passes, he could easily be a 7 out of 10 every match.
And I'm not being funny enough. There was times where he was playing as a striker. Yeah. It was like he was playing as a second striker, as good as. I'm going to be honest. I'll give him a rating. I'm going to give him a 7. I'll give him a 7. I thought he was decent tonight. I'm going to give him some credit. Look how many times that people have criticised him. So he deserves it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
7 out of 10. What are you rating him, Lucas?
Oh, it's a tough one for me. It really is, because as a midfielder, you got to be the best overall player on the pitch. You got to be able to do everything and then a little bit more. And with Soucek, his passing, like I can't get his passing out of my head when it comes to this rating. And I don't mind a 7. I actually rate that rating, but for me, because his passing is it's just not good, I'm going to give him a very high 6. If he completed the basic passes required tonight, and there's about a handful that if he made the basic pass, it could have turned into something dangerous, but he didn't. So, again, I rate your 7, but for me, a very high 6.
Clive, what are you saying?
I'm going to go with the 7. The build-up play for Benrahma's little drama of a goal is partially as to why. I think he's got his confidence back. He seems like he's a confidence player. I think when we was all knocking him down earlier in the season, I think in part he clearly was lacking in confidence. Even with the fans booing him, when he'd get subbed or everyone would cheer and stuff like that. I think he's playing with a bit more aggression on him, and he's definitely got a lot more. When he's losing the ball, he's got a lot more power in him. He's trying to win it back. He just seems more with it now, more lively, and I love it. For me, a 7. Also, I'm enjoying all the admirers I seem to be getting tonight.
I know.
What's going on?
Man. Right. Got to get to this comment from Dan, yeah? And Snazzy just said, comment tonight, and I agree. Soucek is evidence that a player should play in their position. Looks like a fish out of water in another position. Totally agree with Dan.
Yeah,
bang on the money there.
I rate the 7s, honestly. I think he does deserve it. And I also am not too good enough for criticism, so I could be a bit harsh, but he is starting to come back around to the old Soucek. Hopefully he pops in with a few goals, but again, he cleaned up everything tonight, and I was very impressed. Just need a bit more, and he's vintage.
Yeah, he sure is. Captain, leader, Declan Rice. I thought he was a very good performance tonight. I thought he was excellent. He was everywhere. I went on the Manchester United channel late last night. I didn't want to do it. I was absolutely exhausted, and I just done it. And they were praising up Declan. They said, you know what, we've got a quality player, and we know we have. We've got to embrace this now with him, because it's going to come a time when he ain't going to be here no more at West Ham, because I think he will be gone. I thought he was excellent tonight. I'm going to give him 8 out of 10 tonight. I think he was top draw. I can't give him a 9 or a 10 because we lost the game, but I can give him an 8. I thought he was reliable. He was everywhere. He was trying to make things happen. He reads the game so well, and he's top class. So I'm giving him a solid 8 out of 10. Lucas.
Yeah, Rice. Vintage performance tonight. Maybe I felt like could have offered a bit more, but regardless of my opinion, he was superb again tonight. His touches in like high pressured moments, or when you really need to make the perfect touch to make a pass or get out of a situation, he's unbelievable. And again, the interceptions were there tonight. Tackles are good. His passing again, very, very good and effective. I'm gonna give him a high 7.
High 7. Clive, what rating Deck?
I'm going to give him a 7. His interceptions as well in this game, which we haven't mentioned, is a big thing from this. But I would say he somewhat disappeared a little bit when Casemiro came on. I don't know if you two feel the same on that, but for someone that we seem to be rating him really highly, and we should. He is a world-class player, but especially when I'm like trying to think of things for when we sell him in the summer, we're saying, oh, we would like to see X amount of money, but that means you've got to do it against world-class players. And Casemiro is a world-class player, and I think he was a little bit missing in that tonight. But his interceptions and movement and passing, excellent.
Or did Man United just go up another level a little bit? That's the way you got to look at it with that. I agree. Casemiro come on, he did change the game for them, but I think Man United went up another level. Like I think they had to. They were so bad in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, look, they did, but
Yeah.
I think Rice shouldn't be nullified. I think it's a weird one. I was listening to Roy Keane before the game started.
I heard he was having
telly.
an absolute stinker tonight, Roy Keane.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was laying it in thick with Rice, but there was one aspect where I'm like, actually, he's right. Like, he's obviously in a club that's not considered top 6, etc. And at the end of the day, in some games, Rice has been nullified, and he might look better than he is because he's at a club such as West Ham. No disrespect to ourselves, but when he goes to a team like Manchester City or Manchester United or Chelsea, he's one of numerous big stars, and you've got to look at the aspect of can he do it against multiple other big stars.
I always think the opposite, personally. I think if Rice does it at West Ham, why the hell if Rice is world class at West Ham, I would expect him to be even better at City.
Yeah.
But how many players have gone to bigger clubs and then failed? It's very
true.
50-50.
That's true. It's just...
See, I understand that.
It's one of those things where the result doesn't match the theory to me. As like what you said is not wrong, but like in theory to me that shouldn't be the case. So
I get that.
What are you rating him, Clive?
7. Sorry,
7 out of 10. We'll move on to. There's no one better than Lucas Paquetá. Lucas, as I like to do on this channel. Take it away, mate.
Lucas Paquetá. I actually thought he was pretty solid tonight, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Made a few good tackles. His link-up play is honestly just a dream. It really is, and
it is.
He makes
I'm starting to
players.
get convinced. I'm starting to get convinced with him there.
And I'm not joking. I think he gives confidence to players like Soucek.
Yeah.
Because Paquetá gives the ball to our players on such a plate. It's disgusting. Like the way he just backheeled out of trouble to Declan Rice in the first half, I think it was
class.
It was unbelievable. And it's a shame what happened tonight, because again, we played so well for 65 minutes, and then what happened. And I'm gonna give Paquetá. I'm gonna give him a 7. I don't think I can give anyone an 8 tonight. So if anyone did give him an 8, I don't really care. I don't mind. But like when you lose like that, it's hard for me to give someone such a high rating like that. So a solid 7 for Paquetá. He really is giving a lot of our players confidence, I think, with the way he plays.
I'll go next. Very good. Starting to get convinced now by this man. The passing, the movement, the awareness, everything. I do like it. I think he's slowly starting to adapt to British football, like Premier League football, cup football, and everything. I think we've got a good player on our hands. I really do. Tonight, I thought he was everywhere. Like he was making things happen. Sometimes them passes don't come off, but when they do, you can get goals from them.
That's the thing. That's the thing that like I've been saying. Like he may not be some people's cup of tea, and then like for some people like us, he is our cup of tea, and we can see the vision. You got to let him cook. Let him cook. Yeah.
So I'm going to give him a solid 7. I am. I thought he was decent tonight. Really was. I know there's more to come from this kid, so I'm not even worried. I think next season, providing we're in the Premier League, I think this man's going to be vibing in the claret and blue. I do mean that. Clive.
Yeah, I agree. Solid 7 from me. What pass awareness from him. He found space that no other player would find in our team, that's for sure. And I think, that pass to Antonio that should have been 2-0. That's another aspect to look at. At the end of the day, that would have been an easy assist had the striker done his job. But that's for an Antonio part of the rating. But yeah, I think he's finally showing what he's about. It's taken a bit of time. I've always said that he's going to need time to sort of get up to scratch with this league and everything. And when people were laying it in thick, and I understood like the worries, like we are in a relegation battle, so we need him now, not later. But that wasn't ultimately his fault. He didn't come in thinking, oh, we're going to get relegated potentially. He came in with, okay, this is a solid squad. I've got a bit of time to work on myself and get up to scratch. But that wasn't the case, and we did lay it on a bit thick, but he's showing his worth.
Yeah,
so
I totally,
solid 7.
I totally agree with you, Clive. I really do. Before I move on, please do smash a like on the video. It goes a long way. It really helps us out on this bad night in Manchester. And please do subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. We're going to move on to the attackers. This is going to be good. I'm going to start off with this man, Pablo Fornals. I don't know what to make of him tonight. I really don't. Pressing was good.
I thought his passing was excellent today.
Yeah, I thought some of it was okay. Yeah, but then he does get bullied off the ball. That's the only problem. Like in high areas. I don't want to go in on him because he's not one of my most favourite players. I do like him. He wears the claret and blue, so I do like the kid. But I don't know where I land on this one at the minute. So I'm going to have to let you go first, and I will rate him last. So, Clive, take it away.
Cheers. Thanks for that.
Saving myself on that one.
Now, I'm going to give him a 6 because I think he's done what he can in terms of the position he's been played in today. But I don't think that's his position. His position is a central midfield role, and he's not getting played where he should be getting played. To be honest, before I saw the lineup, I had a weird feeling he was going to play on the wing tonight. Obviously, I thought he was going to play where Benny played, but that's because I assumed Bowen was going to start. But look, Fornals did do a bit of the press. He did what he needed to do, but like you say, he did get bullied off the ball. But I would argue it's not his position, and I don't fault him for that. So I'll give him a solid 6. I think he did what he could make most of.
Yeah. Lucas.
I thought he was... this is a tough one for me. Very tough. Very, very tough. Because I'm trying to think... And he might be the only player I give this rating because of his time on the pitch. Because as soon as he went off, that's when it all kind of hit the fan.
I agree on that.
I really thought he was good tonight. Defensively, very good. Two tackles he had. He actually only touched the ball like 40 times. I was just looking at his stats. His passing percentage wasn't the greatest, but he only misplaced 7 passes. And when you don't touch the ball that much, it's really minuscule in my opinion. But I thought he linked up play very good. He created a beautiful chance. Someone needs to be on the end of that cross that he put on the carpet, across the carpet. And he did play some good balls through into the final third today. And this could be kind, but his time on the pitch, I think he deserves just a 7. I can't give him a high 6 because I think he does deserve a 7 for his time on the pitch. And mate, I've said this forever as well. I don't like when Pablo Fornals and Benrahma were on the pitch last year together, but now with Paquetá, they all just are on the same wavelength. Their link-up play is beautiful. It's so beautiful. So Fornals barely scrapes a 7 for me.
I'll give him a 6 out of 10. I think he works hard, but there is nothing else there. He don't score enough goals for me. The pass along the ground in the area is a big moment. I think it's got to be more towards the players rather than him going for goal. But I will agree with you that he sort of, when he come off, West Ham changed. West Ham didn't look threatening at all, really, if I'm being honest. So I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Let's move on to this man like Saeed Benrahma. Clive, take it away.
He gets an 8 from me. He is the man of the match for me tonight. He had a great game. I know the fan base is very divided on Mr. Benrahma here, but I think he's proven that he can do it. his overall gameplay throughout the whole game was really good. He looked lively, looked threatening consistently as well. And he really deserved the goal that he got, to be honest. So, you know, even his dribbles, he just looked like he was having fun out there tonight.
Yeah.
And, you know, he had a good goal as well. You know, you've got to give him the extra credit there. I'm not going to lie, scared a little bit that VAR was going to turn that off, but we got away with it. But ultimately, it wasn't enough to win, and you need all 11 players on the pitch to be on point. So, yeah, I think it's one of those. I also think, if I'm not mistaken, Antonio shot and he could have passed it to Benny. That could have been an easy goal. I'm pretty sure Benny was in the right place. I'm sure it was him. If it was, or if it wasn't, just let me know. But I think it was also him. So, that's another aspect. He's in the right positions. And, I just can't fault him. Man of the match for me tonight, 8 out of 10.
Who said he only turns up against the weak opposition and time to back the man? Totally agree on that comment. I'm going to go next.
Yes.
Man like Saeed Benrahma called it for a long time. People kept coming at me saying, James, you don't know what you're talking about. This man's shit. Yeah, we weren't shit tonight. This kid is a talent. I keep telling people, and I will keep banging the drum for Saeed Benrahma because he ain't a bad player. I've heard so much crap over the years in regards of him. He was very good tonight. Very good. I want to see more of it, though, Saeed. Right? I know that it's in there, but it's about consistency with him there. I'm going to give him a strong 8 out of 10 tonight. I thought he was good. I thought the goal was good. I like him when he runs at people. One thing I do like is 4-3-3. And another thing I like is an inside forward for Saeed Benrahma. I keep saying it over and over again. And people will start taking notice in a fever and not some fucking analytic bollocks that they keep hearing. Big up to Saeed Benrahma. Solid 8 out of 10. Man like Saeed. Done. Lucas.
Yeah, I lied in the beginning. I think there will be only 1 8 today, and it will go to Mr. Saeed Benrahma. I thought he was very, very good today. Cracking goal. When the man plays with confidence, he's just a complete different player, and he has started to look better with the addition of Paquetá, because again, when you have technical players like that, they're just naturally on the same wavelength. And it was nice to see a bit of fire from Benrahma when Malacia held the ball, wouldn't give it back. He gave him a little push. That's something I do like to see from Benrahma, and I hope it continues, because I mean I do like Saeed Benrahma, but like I like to see him when he's confident, strong mentality, but he does get rattled so easily and gets down in the dumps, and that's when he plays his worst.
Yeah,
so I really hope this keeps going, because we know there's a player in there, and he knows he's a good player. For me, it's always just a confidence issue, which none of us will really understand or get for some reason. But yeah, 8 for me. Super tonight. Super, super, super.
Yeah. Eamon, you're definitely lying on that comment. Let's get to that one in a minute. Eamon's definitely lying on that one. I've never said about getting rid of him, mate. Never at all in a month of Sundays. So, yeah, Eamon, stop trolling the situation. Let's move on to this man. Where this is going to be fucking heated.
This one will actually be very interesting. I don't know any of your views on this.
Michail, I can't score a goal, Antonio. Where do I begin with this man? I will start off with this.
Emotional damage.
I will do it again as a rewind.
Emotional damage.
I have had enough. Right? Thank you for the memories, Michail Antonio. Thank you for all what you've done as a right back, as a striker, as a winger. But it's time to sit on the bench and leave in the summer. He is absolutely dreadful. I cannot sit there and say he worked hard. Right? He has 2 chances. The other day, people were moaning about Danny Ings when he has chances and misses. So, Clive, take it away.
Thank you. Oh, where do I begin? Oh my God. So, now, firstly, Wolverhampton Wanderers allegedly wanted him back in January for 10 million. Now, I would literally pay them 10 million take Antonio, please. Like, just take him away. Like, you've got one job. You're a striker. It's to hit it in the back of the net. I appreciate what West Ham Online said during the watch along. I appreciate his stance on Antonio, that he positioned a lot better today, and I understand why he started today. He started because he is probably a better fit for it. I'd also argue that Scamacca's just coming back from injury, so you don't necessarily want him to start. But the double standards is unreal. Like you've pointed out, Ings on the weekend got ridiculed for missing a couple of opportunities in the first half. Now, there's two things for me. It was his first start for us. So, he's going to have to get the right movements, the right bases for everything on the weekend. And ultimately, he did shine through in the second half. Secondly, there was a couple of times during that game on the weekend where Danny Ings actually made a great run in between two defenders, got through. Difference was they didn't pass to him. So the fact of Danny Ings doesn't have pace. All right, he doesn't have the pace of Antonio, granted, but he's got pace to get past defenders and run past them. Now, obviously, I know he's cup tied for tonight, but Antonio, yeah, all right, he's got pace, but there's no point in having pace if you can't put it in the bloody back of the net. There's no point. What's the point in having pace? Your point of pace is to then shoot and score and have the one-on-ones. Yeah,
the double standard.
He just needed another 2 chances.
Right. I'm going to say this. The double standard is embarrassing. Is embarrassing. What you've just said there is bang on the money, Clive. Yeah. I called this the other day with Danny Ings. People were knocking Danny Ings for missing 2 chances, but he scores 2 goals. If Antonio scores the goals tonight, then he ain't going to get ridiculed. Right. The reason why we're out is, one, he missed golden chances at a stage where Man United were crap. Let's be real. And you can't do it. You can't do it. What are you rating him, Clive?
So now I'm going to say he, like I've pointed out, he did have a little bit more energy about him tonight, and he'd done certain things where I'm like,
agree on that.
The movement was better from him compared to the last few games that I've seen off of him. But because you're missing such chances, and that is your job to score, it's only a 5. I can't give him a 6. I can't give him a 7. He would have been a low 7. Or, well, I mean, if he had scored, it would have been probably an 8 and stuff. But 5. I can't. It's two easy chances.
Fair enough, mate. I'm going to go. That's him. When he has a shot, it goes out the ground. I'm giving him a high 4. Not good enough.
Oh.
Right? You can work hard for as much as you like. If you've got no end product, what the fuck is the point? People were criticising Danny Ings the other day. I had people coming at me again. And I turned around and said, if Danny Ings has 4 chances, I expect him to put at least one of them away. Antonio had multiple chances tonight, and he didn't even look like scoring tonight. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm giving him a high 4. He's done his time at West Ham. Thanks for the memories. It's time to say bon voyage. Lucas.
Oh, that one's tough to go off on. I'll just be brutally honest. I thought Antonio, you take away his 2 horrific attempts on goal, I thought he was actually pretty good tonight. Made good runs. Fought with Maguire and Lindelof all day long. He was taking absolute dog's abuse all match from him. But, like I'm going to say, and I think it's different. I think Antonio had a way better first half than Danny Ings did against Nottingham Forest, and I'll stand on that hill until I die. He had a way better first half than Danny Ings. And again, Danny Ings, he did end up putting his 2 chances away, but he did miss his first 2 big ones. And like I said the other week, like I said, you're not going to get 4 chances every week. And it's the same thing with Antonio. He's not going to get many chances like that, and he has to finish one of them. And the second one, he doesn't even have to finish. He has to lay it off. He had options, and he didn't do it. That's the big one that upset me. But the first one,
if that is true, all right, I'm just going to say this. If that is true, don't do cocaine, kids. That's what I say.
But for me,
I thought
Michail Antonio was, bar his finishing, was pretty good tonight. I thought his runs were strong.
He works hard, Lucas. Lucas, listen, right? He works hard.
It's not even his work rate. It's not even his work rate. He dribbled a fantastic dribble around Martinez to create a chance that he fluffed.
Right.
He made good runs. He pressed well. But, again, you're a striker and you're judged on your finishing in the big moments.
Exactly that.
And for me, he let himself down, in my opinion, because I thought the rest of his overall game was pretty good.
Listen,
so for me, I'm going to give him...
What you giving
I'm going to give him a 6.
My God, mate. No way.
Do you know what the irony for me is, right? It's not that he's just missed. Like, for me, if you're a striker not in confidence, and in my opinion, he shouldn't be in confidence this season because of what? How many goals has he scored this season? Like 3, 4? He hasn't scored a lot, right? So he shouldn't be a confident player. So why is he taking on that shot where he should have laid it off? Like, I just don't understand, because surely at this point of the season, you'd be like, oh, it's a team game. I'm not scoring.
You can't be giving him a 6, Lucas, surely.
Mate, I'm not disregarding the chances and the opportunities that he fluffed because they were bad. But besides that, he had a good match.
Right, but the problem I have, and I love you, brother, yeah? Me and your brothers from, like, across the other fucking ocean.
I'm hearing you.
Right? But, and there's a but here coming, right? You criticised Danny Ings at the weekend. He scores 2 goals, but he misses 2 chances.
Antonio, and I still will die on this hill.
Right.
Danny Ings, natural born finisher. He scored 2 goals. That's what he does, correct?
Right.
He redeemed himself with finishing. But Antonio done more today than Ings off ball. He done more than Danny Ings did and offered more. But Danny Ings, he did what was important. He scored 2 goals.
But they're 2 different types of strikers, though. Because, like, in my opinion, like, we know Ings is a poacher, right? Yes. I would never have said Antonio's ever a poacher. He's not a poacher. Not. So the work off the ball is completely different. Now, when I watch Ings, in my point of view anyways, from how I've watched him, is off the ball, the way he moves the defenders to then get into the correct position is a lot better than Antonio because he is a poacher.
I agree.
So in terms of gameplay, Ings when he's off the ball might not look like he's doing much, but he's doing a lot more. So I don't think he had a bad first half in the weekend. I think it just looks like he didn't do as much. Like I said, he had a couple of opportunities where the players didn't pass to him, and he could have easily got past the defence because he had the correct line. He had spread the defence wide enough to allow himself to do that, but the players are not used to the style of play he has. And I think we're going to have 2 issues going forward.
Yeah.
If we keep playing or changing who our striker is, which I think we will in this latter end of the season, the midfield and the defenders will struggle to know what type of game we're playing because we've got different types of strikers. I would actually argue all 3 of the strikers we have are completely different.
They are.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not good. It's not good.
But the only thing I want to say, though, right, I just want to say this, Lucas, I understand what people are saying about work rate. But at the end of the day, if you're judging a striker, you're looking at what he does in 90 minutes in regards of making the keeper work, shots on target, and basically scoring goals. And tonight, they were clear-cut chances.
Yes.
Like that first one, he's running through. That's got to be in the back of the net. If that's Ings, that's in the back of the net, in my opinion. I really do.
But the thing is, we don't, and people were saying the same thing. Scamacca scores that, but do those 2 make that run? Do they get to that ball? We don't know. All we know is Antonio gets there.
Yeah.
The
thing with me is I'm not even.
Scamacca is quick. Scamacca is quick.
I didn't even think Antonio's work rate was like fantastic tonight. I just thought he done everything besides finishing well. But again, when you're a striker, you have to create and you have to finish. But everything besides that, I thought he done well. I truly do. And if he scored a goal, easy 7.
I got to answer this. 7. It's gone up. I can't hear it.
If he scores.
If he scores, man. Right. I've got to answer this. Yeah. Money Squirrel is in the house tonight. I mean, I saw the comments in the comments section. Don't worry, Squirrel. I'm up behind you. James, why do you hate Antonio? Hate is a strong word, mate. Do I dislike him tonight for missing 2 clear-cut chances? Absolutely. He's been a good servant to West Ham. I will always praise him for that. But you've got to be real. You can't criticise Danny Ings on Saturday afternoon saying he misses 2 chances and then scores 2 goals, and everyone says, "Oh, he was crap. He was this. He was awful."
But again, what if Antonio got another 2 chances like Danny Ings did? We'll never know.
Spoiler alert: he'd probably miss.
Yeah, I agree.
He probably missed, mate. So there you go on that. Right, let's go to subs. There was only 2, weren't there?
Yeah.
One of them was absolutely awful. It's this man, Mr. Jarrod Bowen. I thought he was dreadful, mate. Dreadful. What did he do in that time he was on the pitch?
What could he? I would say, what could he do? I think he maybe touched the ball twice if he was lucky.
Yeah.
And again, like, I know a lot of people love to, like, they'll say someone was bad or like they're a passenger or a ghost because they didn't get any touches. But I mean, it's not like Jarrod Bowen doesn't want the ball. It's just what happened. And I didn't think he came on too late or anything. It just, the game unraveled terribly when he came on. And I think it's unlucky for him. But again, didn't do much because he didn't get the ball.
I thought I didn't see nothing of him tonight, mate. If you want me to be real, I thought he was just non-existent. So I'm going to give him a 4. What are you saying, Clive, for him?
He had 7 touches, by the way.
Yeah, no, he was non-existent, but I have heard that the reason he didn't start and the reason he isn't playing much is because he's got a knock that he's carrying. So, in all fairness, I can see why Fornals was in that position for the game, and yeah, I mean, Bowen did nothing really, so 4 as well.
Lucas, what you saying for him? Give me a number.
5.
5 out of 10. We will move on to the Italian stallion. It's him, Gianluca Scamacca.
Can we even rate him? He was only on for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes, non-existent, didn't really do anything, so we won't bother rating him. We will move on to the referee. Lucas, it'd be interesting to see what you think of the ref, because when I was in the boozer, mate, I thought he was fucking terrible. But I'll let Lucas go first on this. What are you saying for the ref?
I actually really didn't have too many problems with him today. So
There was one foul. There was one foul in the first half. I remember it, and I went mad.
He did miss a foul on Paquetá. He got clipped.
Yeah.
On the byline. Didn't get called.
Yeah.
But I thought he was all right today. So what your standard rating for an official is going to be different to mine. Like my standard is 4. Because again, they're all corrupt, disgusting criminals.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give him a 4.
I'll give him a 6 then. I'll say a 6. Clive, what you rating him?
Yeah, I'd give him a 6. The one thing I'd say is even during the VAR situations, I found it a little bit confusing. He didn't seem to command the pitch in a way that was like obvious to the VAR decision. It seemed like it was a stadium announcement.
He's probably a championship referee as well, so he's not used to it. So
it was
for him, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But it was a bit confusing sitting here watching at home. I was a bit like trying to sort of gauge the response of the stadium over the referee, for instance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you rating him?
Solid
6.
number.
Solid 6 out of 10. We'll move on to David, a.k.a. the Messiah. Not yet. What I do, I get everyone's ratings and we have a little chat about it. So I'm going to give Moyes some credit tonight. I like 4-3-3. It works. We're attacking. We look better. We don't look like we're fucking suffocating ourselves.
And now that Emerson has proved that he can be somewhat reliable at left back, I think, like I said earlier, that might be the biggest take from this match for me. Because if we go to Brighton on Saturday in a 4-3-3 with Emerson, if we play the way we did today, we win.
I'm going to I'll go first with my rating, and we'll have a little discussion about it. So I'm going to give him a high 7. A high 7. I thought he picked the right team. He took a risk with Emerson, and it worked. I like the 3-man midfield of Paquetá, Soucek, and Rice. I think that's top midfield, if I'm being honest. The attack was a bit weird tonight, though. Fornals in there, but I can understand it if Bowen's got an injury. He can't really do anything for the goals.
it
The only
worked-
thing I will criticise him for, I just want to say is,
Yeah.
the one thing I will criticise him for is that when Man United went 1-0 down, Ten Hag made changes straight away. When West Ham go 1-0, he sits there and waits. He just dallies. That's the only thing I can say. So, it's just one of them ones. So I'll give him a 7.
I think it's a bit of a double-edged sword just because some people think, oh, you left it too late. Oh, you took him off way too early. There really is no perfect time.
No.
Very rarely is there ever a perfect time to make a substitution.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give him a high 7. What are you saying, Lucas? Give me a number.
I'm actually gonna give Moyes an 8. I thought every move he made today was brilliant in terms of the lineup. I was also a bit worried about Benrahma and Fornals on the wings, but Jesus, I thought Benrahma, Fornals, Paquetá, and Rice linked up and Emerson linked up so beautifully.
Yeah, I agree.
Everything was so fluid. Their passing between all of them and the build-up, the link-up was just chef's kiss, honestly. And he went 4-3-3, which, again, was a huge, huge question mark tonight because if I had to put my money on it, I thought he was going to go back 5. But then I had like a little thought in the back of my head. We have so many defenders that are either injured or not fully fit. It actually might be better to play a back 4 to reserve caution of injury because obviously if you play more defenders, more could get hurt. So I was happy to see a back 4, and I thought he brought Bowen on at the right time. Again, maybe a bit sooner. Could have Antonio come off a bit sooner, maybe, because he did look gassed, but he was playing well in my opinion. But I thought, and again, like you said, the only thing he maybe could have done well was when Ten Hag made a move, he should make a move. But besides that, he took the risk with Emerson, paid off well. Took a risk with playing Fornals on the right wing and Benrahma on the left together, paid off in my opinion. And I think a respectable 8. Yeah,
I agree. Clive, give me your rating, and then we'll discuss it, mate.
Yeah, it's a tough one because I would have given him an 8, but I'm going to give him a 7 because his game management was poor. Pre-game, everything, he's done everything right. Like you say, he's gone 4 at the back. He's changed it up. We're attacking more. We look better. He's left it later into the season than what I would have liked for this sort of change. But this is what worries me also about being on the pitch. He leaves it too late to make these changes, and he's scared of substitutions. For me, Johnson should have come off. And then I know there's been issues with Kehrer, but we don't have any other right backs that can fit into that position. So put Kehrer on, because as soon as Rashford and Casemiro were playing, I don't think Johnson was the same character. So that for instance, is one change that should have been made. Obviously, Antonio being another. I know Scamacca's just coming back from injury, but he could have easily played the last 20 minutes instead of Antonio. But yeah, game management's a concern, especially when I see our league position. That's what worries me. So just a 7 for me.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, lads, that's the ratings done for tonight's game. Let's talk about the future and West Ham. Gutted tonight, don't get me wrong. I agree, like, it was one of them games where we had a good go. One thing I will say, I'm proud of the boys tonight. I really am. Like, West Ham have been getting battered in this change of system, like this 5 at the back or 3-4-3. Now I'm starting to see West Ham of old come back. Like, if West Ham go to Brighton, and I will talk to you lads quickly about Brighton, but if West Ham go to Brighton on Saturday and set up in a 3-4-3 or 5-3-2, I'm going to be disgusted with Moyes. I really am. There's no excuses now. We've got good attacking players.
I think the only way we go to back 5
we need to
is
have a go.
Injury crisis.
Well,
because I think we've, it's the whole turning the corner thing is hilariously funny now because everyone would just go up in arms about, oh, we haven't turned a corner, paper over the cracks, oh, we yada yada. But like I said before, and many people have said, performance on the pitch, no, but the results, yes. Now, it seems to be working a bit in the opposite direction. Obviously, we battered Nottingham 4-0, but the performance was good. Tonight, good performance, shit result. It's all starting to... I'm not saying we've turned a corner, but it's weird now how it's the opposite that is looking like it's starting to occur.
I'm not saying we've turned no corner yet until Brighton.
Me neither. But, again, like I was saying before, the results were good, in my opinion, of who we were playing, but the performance on the pitch, shit. But now, we're starting to look better on the pitch, and especially tonight, we were the better side for most of the match, but the result didn't go our way. It's just funny how the perception is important.
I agree. What are you saying, Clive?
So there's two things. I just want to quickly respond to Eamon's comment here, because he's put, if Moyes brought on defenders and we lost, people in here would be saying, we've lost because he's negative. No, that's not the case. Now, the difference is what Moyes has done to be negative in the past is he's taken off a midfield or a striker to then become more defensive, because we were playing 5 at the back. So I actually disagree with that point of view, because how I see it is in my opinion, if you've taken Johnson off, who looked gassed out anyways, for Kehrer, it's a defender for a defender. I don't see how that's a negative move. That's an accurate representation of changing to keep the same formation that you have in place. That's not a negative move. So I disagree. If Kehrer was to then be at fault for a goal, that's Kehrer's fault, not Moyes' fault. At the end of the day, he's a player for West Ham. If you make a mistake, you make a mistake.
And how funny would it be if we got our first ever win against Brighton since they've been up?
We can do it in 4-3-3, mate, with inside forwards.
I needed that last season to get back into Europa League.
I think this is
not to save us from relegation this season.
I think there's two things with this Brighton game, isn't there? Really, like if you look at all of the teams around us, there's a lot of teams that are going to drop points. I think Bournemouth have got Arsenal. I think the only team where I'm a little bit like, oh, this is going to be interesting is Nottingham Forest versus Everton. No. So all the other games I think are going to be foregone conclusions. I don't see Southampton being Leicester, so we'll ignore that one. But if West Ham can get some points, even a point out of Brighton, because they are a bogey team, I do think it can.
It's still so tight.
Yeah, but I think we need to start making a gap, especially now all we have left is the Europa Conference. I think we're very lucky that we've drawn a Cypriot side rather than a harder team, which allows us to maximise our squad in the league throughout March and build a gap. If we can build a gap in the league and consolidate that we are in a safe enough position to play maybe a slightly weaker squad in April in some of the Premier League games where we don't think we've got as much of a chance, so then we can prioritise the Europa Conference in the round past the whatever this round is against the Cypriot team. I don't know how many teams is it, 16. So the round of 8, so it'd be a quarterfinals. If we manage to get to the quarterfinals, which I'd like to think we would, then I think this has given us an opportunity now to sort of build a bridge in the league, but also utilising some different squads against the Cypriot team, because I don't think we should have too much difficulty against them. And I think if we can start building on points from this weekend, we can start to see a bit of a gap between us and that red dotted zone at the bottom.
I just hope the performance on the pitch can match some results, because like I said, it's just weird how the points were coming in, but people hated the way we were playing. I hope it doesn't turn to that we're playing great, we're just not getting the results.
I disagree. I think if West Ham play 4-3-3 for the remainder of the season, and certain games go to a back 5, like if they go to Manchester City, I don't expect West Ham to go 4-3-3. I expect West Ham to sort of try and contain them and join them on the break. But listen, 4-3-3 with us at the weekend, I'm all for it. Like, power to it, mate. Do you know what I'm saying? I think West Ham are a good side in that system. I've called it for a long time. I've said about the inside forwards. Get Danny Ings up front, the 2 inside forwards near him. Need to get Maxwell Cornet back in this team, because I think he could be a valuable asset to us as an inside forward to support.
Good for a right wing back as well. Maxwell Cornet can play it. Just saying.
let's stay away from that wing backs because I don't even want to see 5 at the fucking back again, mate. If I'm being brutally honest, I've seen 2 performances now in a space of 4 days, 4 or 5 days, where I've looked at West Ham and I've gone, yeah, we look back to how we used to be. That's the West Ham I want to see: free flowing, attacking, making chances. If you sort of weigh it up over the last sort of 6 weeks, yeah, some of the games that we've lost or drew, we've had 1 shot on target. Like tonight, we had so many efforts. Like we scored 1, we should have scored 3 tonight. Really, if we had a striker who knows how to put the ball in the back of the net, we scored 3 goals tonight. So it is a bit gutting, but let's enjoy the conference, because I think if you'd have asked any West Ham fan 12 hours ago, what would you rather do, win the conference or win the FA Cup? I think a lot of them would say, let's go and win this conference. Right, do you know what I'm saying?
FA Cup, any day of the week. I've got 2 reasons behind it.
Go ahead.
Reason 1, the FA Cup is over 150 years old. I think we need to not discredit a domestic cup. It is so imperative. It's history. It's historic. It's a beautiful little cup. And albeit it's not the same money that the Europa Conference is, but I mean, the Europa Conference is about a third to half the percent of what you get in terms of the Europa League, for instance. But the only good thing about the Europa Conference is if you win it, you get into the Europa League. That's probably a bigger thing than actually winning a trophy for me, to be quite honest with you.
I don't know though, Clive. I don't know, because when you look at the conference and people are saying, "Oh, give me the FA Cup," no player's going to come to West Ham for winning the FA Cup. If we've got to win the conference,
I don't think they came to win to go win the conference. Like the conference is only in its 2nd season of iteration, and
Jose Mourinho don't cry for no reason.
No, I appreciate he won it. I do appreciate it, but like I think the Europa Conference. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's brand new, but it's a bit like how I look at the Nations League for the national teams. I just see it as a new cup that doesn't have any history or really matter. And I know that sounds so bad, but
yeah, I mean, don't get me
how
wrong.
I feel.
Gun to my head, which would I rather pick? I'd go for the FA Cup, but I mean, both result in the same thing. We get back to European football, especially Europa League. That opens up a whole new can of worms for what is possible for us and what's not. So.
And plus, who wants to go and play Fulham anyway the next round? You know what I'm saying? So
I think there's one aspect as well. I just feel like the FA Cup, you always hear about like, you know, upsets and everything. And if you look, there's only just the 2 Manchester teams that are left. When I look at the Europa Conference, I do worry about some of those teams. I don't think they're teams we could beat. But based on this system that we've played in the last couple of games, I do think now we could give them a game. And I think that's the difference. I have a bit of hope now.
If West Ham play 4-3-3, from now to the end of the season, in Europe, West Ham will get to the final of the conference. And mark my words,
Depends who we get. Depends who we get.
If we play 4-3-3 attacking football, right, and we go at teams, we can do some damage. I've got every faith in this team, mate, in a 4-3-3. 4-2-3-1's a bit different. Excuse me, because you've got too many players who are wide and you need them to come inside rather than go outside. I know people say Fiorentina, Villarreal and Lazio, but we're a good side. So
don't forget Nice as well.
Yeah,
Nice,
Villarreal haven't been that good since Emery's left, to be fair. So I think Villarreal we could actually give a game.
Villarreal and Fiorentina having West Ham seasons right now.
Yeah, and I was about to say Fiorentina, not that great. To be honest, it's that Lazio team, man. That's the one. But if we don't get them until the final, I think it's all to play for.
I can already see Felipe Anderson brace.
Oh no, mate. I've got to get to that Mike comment. Tokyo, West Ham do have a big following in Tokyo. I don't know why. Anyone who's on Twitter, there's a few Tokyo fans or Japanese fans who literally do a space on West Ham, and I've been in there before, and they've been going berserk after games and everything. So yeah, big up people in Japan and Tokyo. Excuse me, lads. we're going to wrap that up there. Thank you very much, Clive, for coming on. I really
No
do
worries.
appreciate
Thank
it,
you.
man.
Thanks for having me.
Lucas, my brother, good watch along earlier, man. Done really well, bruv. And thanks for coming on tonight. As I always say, I do appreciate it, man. Please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. The boys have been covering me for the last sort of 24 hours as I went into hospital yesterday, and I'm good now. I'm back on form, and I'll be back towards the back end of this week to talk about Brighton. Can we get rid of this curse with Brighton on the South Coast? I really do hope so. Listen, FA Cup's gone now, right? But West Ham in the 4-3-3 is the way forward. That's the way I want to see us play. And I do believe we play like that. We win games. We're as good as gold. So, yeah, listen, I'm going to let everyone go. Enjoy your evening wherever you are on this planet. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.
There it is. I've never found a love like this.